Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, before I start, I'd like to ask just a quick question. How many of you have been on the Griffin at Busch Gardens? Raise a hand.
Never in my life.
Same. And so, the reason I really brought that up is that ever since I saw the commercial 10 years ago, when I was only 8 years old, I thought, man, that looks like the best thing ever. Like, I want to work there one day. And I instantly knew that I really wanted to work in the industry of theme parks and hospitality. But as I grew older, from there on, I really broadened my horizons, going to different theme parks, going to Florida, going to the New England area, to Ohio, for all the places. But as I researched more and more about these places, there was one person that I saw, which his name was Richard Kinzel, or he prefers to be called Dick Kinzel. And so Mr. Kinzel was the CEO of the Cedar Fair Company until he retired in 2011. And during his time, he was the operator of 11 theme parks across the country. And he really helped, I would say, revolutionize the industry. And he took the Cedar Fair Company from $1 million business to $1 billion business.
Wow.
With his support and care for the industry today, things like the Griffin may not have existed. So let me just take you back to where his background is in the Cedar Fair Company. He started in 1972. We think a man like this, with all these, taking a company to $1 billion company and operating in such a big company, that Walt Disney World rejected him in 1972. And he ended up at Cedar Point as the assistant manager of food services from 1972 to 1978. And then later on, quite a big promotion. At the time, there were only 2 parks owned in the Cedar Fair chain. And so he was promoted to the vice president and general manager of Valley Fair, located in Minnesota, for a good 8 years. To go from an assistant manager to basically the president of the park, so quite a promotion. And then things got even bigger when in 1986 he became the CEO of the entire company. So his what he changed as a CEO, he went through many phases that changed the business from a small business into a very large open business. When the park opened, there were many potential buyers for the park when it opened, during his legacy there, where people such as Anheuser-Busch, who owns Busch Gardens up the street, wanted to own Cedar Point, actually Cedar Fair, the entire company. Marriott Hotels wanted to own it, Taft Broadcasting Company. And they just stuck to their guns, and in 1987, the company went public. And on the New York Stock Exchange, their acronym, I would say, is FUN. And over the time, the 90s and primarily 90s, he bought 2 more parks for the Cedar Fair chain, Michigan's Adventure and Dorney Park. And then quite a big change when he went through in 2006. The company bought the Paramount parks, such as King's Dominion, that used to be a Paramount park. He bought 5 of those parks for $1.26 billion. So he acquired 5 more parks for the Cedar Fair chain. And so that really took it from $1 million business to the $1 billion business we see today. And he really changed it from a mom and pop park to like you see the standard of amusement parks today. His legacy, the beginning of what really he is known for in the industry. And in 1989, he wanted to build a new roller coaster for Cedar Point. And he decided to introduce the Magnum XL 200, which was the first coaster in the world to ever reach the height of 200 feet, the fastest in the world. And at the time, it was a big deal. Like, people from around the world came over to see this ride. And then he unknowingly started the, quote, coaster wars, to where other theme parks and other places started to build bigger and better rides, to where you see things now, such as Griffin, where it's so high, than King's Dominion, the Intimidator 305. And he really put Cedar Point on the map as the coaster capital of the world to build the next big thing, what everyone wants to ride. And throughout the 90s, really, he just started being more innovative, where he opened the tallest, fastest, and longest inverted coaster, something like Alpengeist at Busch Gardens, if you know what I'm talking about. In 1994, the tallest wooden roller coaster in 91, the tallest, fastest, and longest stand-up coaster in 1996. So really, he was making a big push and investing a lot into just Cedar Point itself. And what really put Cedar Point, I would say, on the map even more is what the 2 additions he made within a 3-year period. In 2000, the coaster that broke records and caught the industry's eye was the Millennium Force, with heights of 300 feet and 90 miles plus per hour. It's a fun ride. It's a fast ride. It was so daunting, but Dick Hensel thought I could do better than that, so he instantly went to break records again just 3 years later with the top thrill dragster, with speeds reaching over 120 miles per hour in less than 4 seconds and the heights of 420 feet. He really wanted to bring extreme thrills to the park because that's what the customer wants, that's what consumers are craving, and he really wanted to keep visitors coming back and back and having these good memories. Now, I know I told all of you about these little details, but really, what does this have to do with me? I think growing up, ever since Busch Gardens since I was 8 years old, we had I learned a lot just by observation within the parks, and I can tell that we have a very similar mindset. And what I mean by that is he has, like the rides I told you, he creates unforgettable attractions where he wants to come back and satisfy the consumer's wants. And for me, well, I've never been in a position to build such crazy rides. I like to have a similar creativity to where if I think in my head one day, I can actually build that ride. It would take some time, working up with the company, but for me, it's just the creativity that I think we both have in common, and creating unique experiences. I believe that innovation is the key if you ever want to go anywhere in business, well, in the hospitality business, to keep people coming back and back. And I guess we both agree on that because since he created such innovative rides that he wants to keep his business at an advantage in the future. So our like characteristics is that we both really want to, I personally want to, if I ever work for a business or own a business, I want to improve the quality of the business to where it's something fresh, something the consumer wants, while also being profitable. And he has to do that in order for all 11 of the parks to survive. He takes time out of his day to get out of the office and just walk around Cedar Point and just talk to guests, see what they think. Just make sure that everyone's having a good time. And I also like to do that in a sense where whenever I'm at a park, usually if you ever hang out with me, I'm usually the one saying, are you having a good time? Want to slow down, stop, bathroom break, kind of that person. But also, I think we're both very strict about operations, working precisely. And what I mean by that is he has to make sure that everything is running smoothly for the park to operate from open to close. for the season from all the summer, spring, the fall, and that's kind of like the expectations that I have, to where I don't want to be nitpicky. Like, I can understand if someone's having a bad day working at the park, but I think there should be expectations that should be met whenever I go to like a Busch Gardens or something. And what I most admire about Dick Hensel, I mean, he's really just been proven to be a great leader for this company, where if you can do such things and take the company from something so small to something so huge, is that I think that's really admirable, towards something that I want to do one day. I want to be the next leader, innovator in that industry. And he really at his late 60s, late 60s, his age didn't slow down when he was in the company, where he would still go out, walk with guests, talk to them. He would always be interacting with the company, I guess, going to each park. I mean, to go to 11 parks around the country while trying to keep like a fresh relationship, I think it is something admirable, to where he wants the business to succeed. He wants this business to grow, and he'll have any means to do it. And so, whenever I'm in a friend's conversation about not Dick Hensel, but in the same theme parks and whatnot, whenever he is brought up, I know that I can appreciate his work and what he's done for the industry, to where he's changed it drastically. And it really taught me one thing, is that if you want to be the best of whatever career that you have, just make sure you follow the right leaders, to do your best daily, and you really can achieve your ultimate goals.